Good afternoon on what is a warm, bright and sunny day. It's Friday the 18th of July. I'm in the reading nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a bag full of goodies that I brought back from Free RPG Day, which in 2025 took place on Saturday, June the 21st. Yes, Midsummer's Day. And I've got yet another item to pull from the bag and have a look at. So let's see what we shall find. Just go see, find something that I haven't looked at yet. And what? I'm just going to leave my bag. I've got here is Legends of the Mist, the Rustic fantasy role-playing game, and this is the demo game published by Son of Oak. Publisher best known for really two things, one of which is the City of Mist setting and Otherscape. And what the two really have in common is the fusing of myth and legend into different genres. City of Mist, for example, does it with kind of like a pulp noir or neo-noir setting, and Otherscape does it with genres such as cyberpunk. So, tell the legend you always wanted to tell. Spin a fireside tale of unlikely villagers setting out on a quest into an unknown greater world, rife with peril and mystery in the vein of Lord of the Rings, The Wheel of Time, Princess Mononoke, and many other classic fantasy stories. Legend of the Mist is a narrative role-playing game with optional tactical features, focusing on bringing story and gameplay together, from its simple yet versatile one-roll resolution through built-in personal story arcs to support for parties with characters of different power levels. Gather your companions, journey through the countryside and wilderness, overcome dangers both natural and ancient, then have a campfire conversations about what it all means. This demo game contains the basic rules, a short adventure with unnerving evils and 3 sample characters. And the full role-playing game will be out this summer, so presumably at Gen Con. So we open up and we've actually got some inserts here, and these are the character sheets and stuff. So we've got a poster of tracking sheets, and this is the track elements in the game which the player characters are attempting to overcome limits such as wounded or convince, which you track on here to bring about resolutions. So, okay, then we have the 3 character sheets. The adventure here is only designed for 3 characters, and we start off with the apple picker, who automatically you can tell is a rascal. But this is actually a box of themes, essentially, or a theme with a box of tags, as it were, power tags and weakness tags. And what you're trying to do in the game is bring the power tags into play, give you a bonus, and avoid the weakness tags because they'll give you a penalty. You've got a bit of background here underneath as well, and in each one you've also got an experience track, which when you use it will basically give a tick and improve it, and then a decay if you basically play against that theme. But these sheets are actually 2 pages, so you've actually got multiple themes here, sets of tags. So that includes Ravenholm raised, so basically raised locally, scrappy, and bushel of apples for sort of like what she can do. And you've got a backpack of items as well. And there's also an explanation of the game rules in the middle there for easy access. And each one of these has got a little bit of background and flavour to guide the player in terms of role-playing. So what else have we got? Well, the thing is, the apple picker is actually a double-sided sheet. So you've got a male version on the reverse. There we go. And it's going to be like that all the way through. So the next one, of course, is the same. And we've got the Red Marshal. And he is Protector of the Dale, martial training, athletic and aspiring local hero. And so is she. And the third one is the Wise One. And he's an apothecary, old ways practitioner, and that's the nearest sort of thing you kind of get to magic, an outland recluse, and he's seen a thing or two. But also, so has she, if you want to do the whole thing, be you a wise woman. So you've got 3 characters which you can play sort of like differently depending on the genre, but they're essentially the same characters. So in the booklet itself, what we have is an explanation of what the game is about and what you do in the game and what actions you can take in the character as the character, and an explanation of these theme boxes with their tags, and how you play, and essentially that's a guide to sort of like the conversation that you as a player will have with the game master back and forth. And essentially, so what the game master is doing, the narrator is establishing a scene, leads to some actions, and then there'll be some consequences. That's a simple structure to the game. And then we look at how you overcome a challenge and how you can conduct an action. And really for the action, what you're doing is you're rolling 2 6-sided dice and attempting to roll high. If you roll 6 or less, you fail without any benefits and suffer consequences. If you roll between 7 and 9, you succeed but with consequences. And if you roll 10 plus, then you succeed without consequences. And that's essentially the core system, and you may well recognize that from other Powered by the Apocalypse games, and essentially it's a variant of the Powered by the Apocalypse engine. So what you're trying to do really is bring the power tags into play, use those as bonuses to get effects, and apply them to challenges. For example, convinced 4 or wounded 3 might be ones you're trying to overcome, and you'll be doing that collectively or over multiple rounds. But if you don't succeed, there will be consequences, and those will affect you and others around you. But as you can see, you track them on that tracking sheet in that box there. You basically cross off the limits as you reach them. You've got guidance here for character growth, but generally this really is a bit of a more guidance than something you're going to put into practice, because this is a demo game. Got a full list of all of the effects there and what they do. Quick introduction to character creation, which kind of feels a bit superfluous given that this is a demo and you're not going to do with that. But advice for the narrator, who is going to be establishing scenes, guiding and rulings on player actions, and then applying consequences as they come up, essentially deliver consequences. And you've got a full list of the possible consequences that can come up in the given scenario. Before we get into the full scenario, which is a shadow in the Barley, and it tells you players turn back, welcome narrator, and you carry on. And the opening scene is a roadside meeting between all 3 characters, which I suppose makes a change from you meet in a tavern. But you've got a background here to the setting, which essentially is an isolated village with, tales of things that happened in the past, but they're legends, don't really think about them. But suddenly there's a scream and something wakens in the Barley. There's a child in peril, and eventually once you go to rescue him, you encounter a awakened sentry. Where has awakened sentry come from? Well, that's the mystery. But of course, once you defeat it, that's the first challenge. You have to go and tell the villagers, and you've got 3 NPCs and how they react differently to how, according to their natures, differently in terms of sort of, what they'll do next. One of them will go, okay, yes, let's evacuate the village. Another will go, right, let's get all the villagers together and we'll get pitchforks out and go and deal with the problem. And another one basically will be doom-mongering. So it's a nice little variety there in terms of what the characters are going to be doing. And you've got a track there for essentially dealing with the concerned villagers as a whole. So you've got a nice bit of sort of like social role-playing game, social role-playing involved in the scenario. And then the villagers perhaps and the player characters make their sad departure from the village to go and sort out what the problem is, which is to visit this sunken watchtower and investigate. And this has its own challenges because it's full of water. Got to get down to it, and then they run into an outlander who's going to give them a strange wish that she wants them to do. There she is. And there you've got a couple of encounters: the pond in the tower as basically as an objective to overcome, and a poisoned worm to face. And there's the aftermath of the adventure, and a full advert there for the full game. So that's a really nice package there. A little bit of a difficult game, I suppose, to kind of teach because it's not quite as straightforward as others, because it's more narrative based. But it will probably help if you played a game like Root, for example, or any of the sort of like role-play games, I suppose, published by Magpie Games, because they do a lot of kind of powered by the apocalypse games. But I think that's a nice introduction to the setting, and especially for a smaller group. And I think you can probably teach that and play through that in a single session as a demo. So yeah, that's Legends of the Mist, the Rustic Fantasy RPG demo game from Son of Oak. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box, but in this case it's going to be a bag containing all the goodies from Free RPG Day 2025, which I will unbox and chat about one by one to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. And then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.